Once upon a time, a long time ago, in a quiet corner of the world, there was a beautiful castle. Lord Adrian stood tall in his velvet coat as carriages with important guests arrived at the gates. But it was the magnificent gardens that truly stole everyone's breath away. Roses climbed the walls, and fountains sang alongside rare and beautiful trees from faraway lands. Fruit trees bent heavy with abundance, and marble sculptures stood among the paths. At each of Lord Adrian's gatherings, the halls filled with laughter, music, and light. As guests entered the castle, their silks and jewels were glowing in the lantern's warmth. The castle's walls were adorned with impressive paintings, telling stories of brave knights and gentle queens. It was a place of wonder, where everyone felt they were stepping into a dream, whispering about its beauty and grace. Among the castle's residents stood Elissa, not as part of the noble company, but as the gardener's daughter. Her hands carried the fragrance of lilies, while her hair caught the golden light of dawn. While laughter and music filled the halls, Elissa's world was the garden paths, where roses opened quietly and fountains sparkled in the sun. Since childhood, Elissa had carried a secret love for Lord Adrian, and her feelings deepened with every passing year. Still, her place was not among the nobles. She was never invited to his grand gatherings. Instead, she belonged to a different world. She lived with her father, in modest chambers, within a nearby building assigned to the castle staff. Their rooms were plain, with wooden beams and stone floors, far from the luxury of the castle. Yet to Elissa, the garden was her palace, and the fragrance of lilies her crown. Elissa watched the guests arrive. Their laughter sounded like music in the night. She stayed among the roses, hidden in the shadows, her heart full of quiet dreams. She saw Lord Adrian welcoming the nobles with his proud smile, and in her imagination, he was dancing in the moonlight with her. And when the violins began inside the hall, she slipped away into the stillness of the garden. One afternoon, as the castle prepared for a grand party, Elissa was in the garden, cutting flowers to brighten the halls. Adrian's carriage rolled past, the horses shining in the sun, the wheels turning proudly. He stepped down, tall and confident, and asked her in a light, careless way, "What flowers are these?" Elissa lowered her eyes, her voice soft but clear. "Orchids, roses, and lilies, my lord," she said. Adrian gave a small nod, then returned to his carriage. The wheels turned again, and the horses carried him away. Elissa stayed in the garden, holding her flowers quietly. Lord Adrian passed by, never knowing the love she carried in her heart. But then, times changed. The rains did not fall, and the dry years came. The land grew tired, and the castle could hardly stand strong. One by one, Lord Adrian's wealthy friends turned away. The carriages stopped coming. The laughter faded from the halls. The music was gone. Even the helpers began to leave. Their pay was late, and the castle could no longer sustain the life it once had. The servants packed their things, and the corridors grew emptier each day. But Elissa stayed. She stayed with little, working from dawn until dusk, to make up for the helpers who were gone. Sometimes her old father gave a hand. Sometimes the kind governess who had raised Adrian as a boy came to help. But most of the time, it was Elissa alone. She cooked Adrian's meals. She chopped wood for the fireplace on winter's cold nights. She brought him warm towels when he was ill. She lit the lanterns in the long evenings so the castle would not fall into darkness. And slowly, in the silence of the dry years, Adrian began to see. He saw her quiet beauty, shining not in jewels or gowns, but in the gentle light of her devotion. He saw her kindness woven into every meal she cooked, every towel she carried to his bedside, every step she took through the empty halls. Her presence was steady, like the lantern she lit. Her love was quiet, but it warmed the castle more than any fire. One evening, Adrian looked at Elissa with new eyes. "My lady," he whispered with wonder in his voice. "How have I not seen you before?" He saw her clearly for the first time, her quiet beauty, her gentle kindness. And as fate would weave, his heart began to change. Years passed, and at last the dryness came to an end. The rains returned, and the land rejoiced. The gardens grew green again, and the trees gave fruits in great abundance, more than ever before. The castle stirred with life. Adrian began hiring helpers once more. The corridors filled with footsteps, the kitchens with laughter, the halls with light. And then, one by one, his old friends remembered him again. Carriages rolled up to the gates. Invitations to grand parties arrived, sealed with gold and ribbon. But this time, Adrian was different. He no longer wished for the busy gatherings. He no longer sought the glitter of endless nights. For in the silence of the dry years, he had discovered something greater. He had discovered Elissa. So one evening, Adrian stood before her. His voice trembled, not from weakness, but from love. "I wanted to ask you long ago," he whispered. Elissa's heart began to race. Was he going to say the words she had dreamed of all these years? "Sweet Elissa," Adrian continued, "you do not know how much I have struggled within myself to keep these words hidden. Every day, every night, they pressed against my heart, waiting for the moment I could finally speak them." Elissa's heart beat faster. The lanterns flickered around them, casting golden light across her face. "I waited," Adrian said gently, "because I wanted to be strong again. I wanted to give you not only a castle, but the life you deserve. A life of abundance. A life of kindness. A life of love." Adrian took her hands gently, his voice steady now. "Dearest Elissa," he said, "we are getting married. Not someday, not in a dream, but now, in this life we share. You have already given me everything. Your kindness in silence, your devotion in hardship, your love when all others turned away. And I will give you everything in return. This castle, my heart, my life, they are yours." Elissa's heart fluttered like wings. She was safe. She was seen. She was loved. And the castle was no longer quiet. It was alive with the gentle music of their hearts. Lord Adrian and Lady Elissa walked its gardens hand in hand, and every rose that bloomed whispered their story to the winds. Their love became the castle's true crown, shining brighter than jewels, lasting longer than stone.